not want to annex eastern Ukraine.
Webcam microphone up close.
Webcam microphone up close.
At the age of 19 in 1962, she was a...
See, but I have the files. You know, I read this stuff at the National Archives, and I read these other things. I said to myself, how can that be possible? The brain, you know, pistols and fondle slab of choice, and on computers, the internet, professional wrestlers, and not Jesse Ventura style. It doesn't matter where the information comes from as long as it's real. It doesn't. It's hard to get real information because seriously, they don't want you to just read two sources whenever I try to prove out one. You know, it's not. If you expect your government to tell you the truth, you're going to sadly disappoint. Another one of these things.
Dear Lord, what a dirty old man.
Really? Can't be serious. Is this really how you want things to be? Come on. More hooker, eruptions. Eruptions, whatever.
Like Dave Powers kind of...
Really?
Allegedly broadcast live from Kima Region 2, within the borders of the formerly united and currently occupied states of America. We bring you the Ochelli Effect.
I damn sure know I'm an original.
We have all these situations. I'd love to know why it takes 50 years, for
That's that.
For a 19-year-old girl to eventually get up to gumption to put these things out.
And that is that. We are live on January the 10th, 2015 on UCY.TV radio. So tonight what we're going to do, because I had a guest cancellation and a crazy idea in my mind, I decided that we would try and pull in as many fellow broadcasters that I could out there on a sort of short list to see who would want to join me tonight and just have a random discussion about everything. And that's going to carry over into Jaded, which will follow this program. Anyhow, later on, right around the 9 o'clock hour, I'll actually be joined by the guys from Truth Emerges Radio, which will include Austin Thomas and Lee Peer. Previous to that, we shall see who actually shows up, but April Bodden might show up at some point here from Truth or Talk. Maria Heller said she would try to stop by. Jillian Treblecock from People's Internet Radio, Roger Landry, Barry Prince. There's a whole bunch of people that are going to, kind of kick in here for the next couple hours. So this is the quiet time, as it were. If you want to join in, feel free to do so. The phone lines are open and working, 718-717-8296. So if you want to call in to discuss anything at all, we can do that. Of course, we could even go over what's going on in the chat room if you want to, but who knows? Interesting discussion going on there, which, by the way, if you happen to be listening to this on something else other than the regular website, go to ucy.tv/TOE, and the chat room will just simply appear there on the page, along with the archived shows, the YouTube playlist, all that other good stuff. And, of course, I always advise people to check out the other shows on this network. A lot of great stuff going on. Anyhow, so we're going to see who's going to join us. Jillian Treblecock from People's Internet Radio, you're going to notice that she's got an English accent of sorts. Probably I'm going to get in trouble for calling it that. But the fact is that, it's one of those accents, and, one of the people that I've just sort of run into over time. Hopefully she will jump in pretty soon here. You guys have all heard Maria Heller on the show. So, anyway, what is going on in our world? I find it interesting that we are, confronted once again with another one of these, random attacks of terrorism, the jihadi thing continuing to be played up. And, the longer it goes on, the more this kind of nonsense goes on. All I keep thinking to myself, and aloud, sitting there telling my now 6-month-old the same thing. It's interesting to me that, of course, in France, notice the shooters got away at first. That's the kind of thing that definitely would not happen here, would it? Nope, we'd have dead shooters is what we would have. And of course, I think this woman is an interesting character that they keep flashing her picture all over the media, by the way, her relationship to things. And of course, how scary is that this might actually involve women, not just crazy Muslims out there that are guys, but hey, women too. So the mass distraction weapons continue to flame up and fire up all over the place, don't they? It is one of the strangest things to observe exactly how people react to this stuff. Of course, I was also treated to some of this nonsense on conservative radio. People wanted me to listen to this and that and the third thing, and remember back to to the David Dukes of the world and things like that, and discuss what's going on there. Because of course, this guy is still broadcasting in an alternative sense at this point, and still going out and doing his thing. Don't have much to say about him, I would say, at the moment. Anyway. Of course, this comes up because of the Republican thing about going and making a speech with the wrong kind of people. Again and again, people forget their history. The fact is that, the GOP as it stands is an excellent repository for individuals that want to embrace, formerly dissolved ignorances and cloak them in new things, and that's just perfect. And of course, the David Dukes of the world, very, very fascinating to me that this kind of nonsense continues to go on because, as I've stated many, many times, for myself, I really don't see the point in racial division. We have a racial problem, that's for sure, and the entire human race is under the same attack. Although there are, race-specific bioweapons out there, and there are individuals who do have a race agenda out there, one way or another, for, the positive or the negative or whatever. It really doesn't matter. So, it just becomes one of those things where I don't see the reasoning behind the continued narrative. I don't see the point to this any longer. It was a different time, a few decades ago when this stuff was still fresh in our minds, post, not in the Obama age, as it were, but, post 60s assassinations, let's just say. We still had the throwing of a bone to the people that would often incite all sorts of problems in the social discourse, as it were, regarding race. This guy Julian, I can't remember his last name now, but it was the first vice presidential candidate who happened to be black, was first brought onto the scene in 1968, and that changed the equation somewhat regarding the mainstream and all that. And look who I have here, April.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm all right. This is the first time you and I have actually had a conversation, although I do see the Truth or Talk banners all over the place.
Yeah. Yes, I see yours as well. It's Ochelli Effect. And do you go by Chuck or Charles?
Everybody calls me Chuck, but
right.
the name on the registration of birth, of course, is Charles. But hey,
right.
unless you're a cop or a bill collector, I really don't like to be called Charles. So Chuck is great. April is okay for you, right?
Yeah, that's the name they gave me, so it's the only one I go by that I'm aware of anyway. So Chuck, yeah, so I was kind of listening in just before I called, and you were saying, so does the 6-month-old have, you were talking about the 6-month-old you have now, do they have a registration of birth? Are you allowed to say that on there?
Well, we've avoided all of that thus far.
Yeah.
But it was not easy, and I've avoided vaccination for the most part. Unfortunately, they did stick him with some vitamin K before I could rush him out of the hospital, and I did require a hospital to have him come into the world. And of course, Kim, who will be on after me, was really the one doing the work. I say I brought him into the world, but,
Well, you gave your contribution, so you're a part of it, too.
This is true, and Daddy does spend a lot of time with him during the day, and unfortunately, he does have to put up with me watching stuff happening in the world and complaining to him and explaining it to him and having him look at me with... Well, ever since he was born, he kind of looked at me like, what's wrong with you anyway? But it's okay.
So it's your first boy, so you said so you have a son. Is he first child?
No, he's actually my third.
Oh.
Yeah, but see, I'm a little older now. So, I'm in my 40s now. My other ones were born at the the end of my 20s, the beginning of my 30s. So I've actually got one that was born in 99, one that was born in 2002, and then one born in 2014. So, hooray! But the other two live with Mom elsewhere. So this one has actually got all my attention at the moment on a daily basis.
Well, that's really nice. That's nice to have. I have quite an age gap in mine, too. My oldest is 11, and my second child is 9, and then I have a 4-month-old. So there's a bit of a gap there. But, we had, and she's, we've avoided that stuff with her. We actually didn't have a hospital birth. I went, did the midwife thing, and at a birthing center, and avoided all of that. So you didn't have your traveling notary with the registration or the shots or anything like that. It's a much different ball game because I went the traditional route through the hospital the first 2 times, and I can say it's completely different. If you guys do it again, I would highly recommend going that route because it's actually really nice. It was the best experience of all 3, I would say, for sure.
See, I would have, but to be honest with you, the both of us were a little worried because of our age.
Yeah.
She's just a touch older than me, and to be honest with you, if we had gone that route, we might have had trouble and might have had to go to the hospital anyway because there was actually a complication there when he was coming. So I don't feel bad about having done it that way. But,
no, yeah.
But I definitely see the reasoning behind, avoiding the whole system that way. Because trust me, I absolutely, I'm still upset at the fact that they jammed that thing in his leg before even explaining to me what it was.
Yeah.
And then when they started talking to me about, this kid needs a Hep C shot or excuse me, Hep B. I keep mixing those two up. But the Hep B shot, in which case I very quickly looked at the pediatrician who was assigned to him and said, well, explain to me if my son is not going to have any tattoos, intravenously use any drugs, or have sex anytime soon, why he would require that vaccine. Right. And of course, I got some strange looks, and I got one doctor pretty much explained to me that he agreed with me. Right. But nevertheless, it was still on the schedule, April. So, definitely one of those things, and I'm delighted, delighted to have him. He was a little bit of a surprise, like I said, later on in life and all that. But then again, how shocked can you be?
Right. That's true. Yeah. And well, congratulations on that, and congratulations on being able to avoid the vaccine. I know that can be challenging, and some people get threats and stuff in the hospital. And you're probably hearing about this stuff lately, all these medical kidnappings and weird things going on where people question their doctor and then all of a sudden they call CPS and they take the kid away. Have you been hearing about this? It's been kind of in the news a lot lately.
Well, there's been a lot of these stories circulated, and they're really frightening because, after all, look, we forget, that, because about what age are you?
At 40.
Okay, so you're in the same age group as me.
Mm-hmm.
You remember a time when they actually told us that we had, freedom to do things, and they weren't exactly pushing things on everybody.
Right.
There was a transitional period here. People that are in their 20s or even their 30s don't necessarily remember a time now, where they were coherent with the world, that these kind of things were not being enforced on them, one way or another. And usually it's without law. It's just based on the color of law, as it were, and by these decrees and things. And people don't know their rights. This is the other problem. Like, I had to research and find out that in the state where I'm living now, which I just moved to this year also, that I could have an exemption based on religious concerns, and I did not have to define those religious concerns. I didn't have to cloak myself in some sort of a false belief. I will call it a religious, it is absolutely legitimate that I have a religious objection. I'm not going to state what that is, but I have a religious objection, and therefore don't even need to state it. They don't accept a form letter, but they do accept a letter, like if you want to enter a school and all these other things in this state, thankfully. And some other places have exemptions where you can get them in your local municipality, which still allows you access to things. Because, realize, at some point soon, I'm going to need to put him in daycare or something like that. Right. Because the two of us can't really afford to do things the way we're doing them. But right now, I am his daycare, When it does come down to it, though, he's going to require some sort of daycare, and they always ask for the requisite. Where's the shot record? Where's the medical record? All that other good stuff, and and what I can report is that he is a whole lot more alert and aware than my other two children were at his age. He's extremely healthy. Doing well mostly off of what I've selected to feed him. Not necessarily what has, given to you as the general canon of knowledge out there. A little bit of trial and error, regarding this. But, hey, there was a day when there wasn't the internet and there wasn't the what to expect when you're expecting books, right? So,
yes. Yeah, absolutely. And, I read that book, and but no one had warned me about vaccinating. So, fortunately, my two kids were vaccinated. My 9-year-old is quite severely autistic. He's on the moderate to severe end of the autism spectrum, and so I got to see firsthand, what these things do to our children in the most extreme way, or in some of the most extreme ways. I can't say the most, because I do have quite close friends and people that I know personally who've had their children die, or as a vaccine reaction, or go and have severe disabilities, unable to walk, unable to, these types of things. So what? So it's quite scary, because there are a lot of vaccines out there these days being pushed on the kids to go to school, and like you said, there's an exemption. I think in every state there is one, but a couple of states make it a little harder. You have a religious exemption, for example, but if you fill out the form, there could be something that's maybe self-incriminating, like, I understand I'm putting my child at undue risk. However, I'm going to sign this anyway based on religious beliefs. They might say things like that. And in those cases, you could be getting a knock from CPS, because you're basically admitting that you're putting your child in harm's way based on religious reasons, or, just your philosophical belief. In some cases, they have those. And here in California, we used to have one of those. We used to have a philosophical belief, but then they decided to make it harder for people. So now you can get a philosophical belief, but you have to go to a doctor to sign off on it, and saying that they've explained to you the pros and cons of vaccination. And I think that we know the cons, but we have yet to really see the science that proves that there's pros to it. So, it's a backwards world right now. It really is.
Well, see now, and I come down a little bit different on that, because I'll tell you this, the way that the vaccines were developed in the first place kind of made sense.
Right.
The original stuff, as it were, sort of made sense, but all this other garbage that they've added to it, everything from, thimerosal to what turns out to be ethyl mercury, and so on and so forth. This is where the poisoning comes in. And just to qualify it, the boy who is named after me, who was my second child, is also on the spectrum. I don't know exactly how to grade that, because it seems to have slid on the scale in the past few years a little bit this way and that way. You know what I mean? And of course, it is a frightening issue, and it's one of those things that that we need to do something about. That's for sure, because even the even the government itself is aware of the fact that a lot of this stuff is damaging. Otherwise there wouldn't be the injury.
Compensation Act.
Yeah, definitely. Right, and I'm sorry, I was actually trying to follow something that was going on here. And yeah, exactly, the Injury Compensation Act and all of that, and also there's a fund that actually pays for some of these damages sometimes, and of course, that's an admission of guilt in and of itself. Now, there's other environmental concerns as well. And not just autism, but I mean, I sincerely believe that it was the first round of vaccinations that may have triggered a lot of the allergies in my one son, not the one that's little now, but in my one son. I mean, this kid is allergic to peanuts and strawberries and you name it. I mean, he's allergic to all kinds of stuff, and it seems to me as though there's some evidence for, because of the materials being utilized in some of the vaccines, that goes on as well, Yeah,
that actually, there's some history to that, that's a very well-known fact that allergies and anaphylaxis were caused by a vaccine. They were actually originally caused by the smallpox vaccine, and the words were created in response to that. It was originally called serum sickness. I can send you the link on it. I'll post it in the chat room. People can look it up. But it's essentially, it was known that allergies, including life-threatening allergy anaphylaxis, were caused by a vaccine, and they called it serum sickness. That was the original rounds of smallpox vaccines that they were putting out, and kind of in the origin trying to see what would happen. And so essentially what a vaccine does is what a lot of people may not understand is it's supposed to cause an allergic reaction. So it's not, the misconception is that there's a weakness in the body and therefore some people are going to have a negative reaction. That's not true. What happens is your body's going to develop antibodies to attack anything that is injected within you, so any foreign substance. So if you have, for example, syringes that are used, they use peanut oil to lubricate the syringe, which is what they do with vaccines in this country, then you're going to develop an antibody to respond to that. So therefore, you have an allergy now. And the same is true of, they cultivate the viruses in chicken eggs. Well, hence you have a lot of people with allergies to chicken eggs.
Yeah, that's another thing that the kid's allergic to. I'm telling you, eggs and dairy and all kinds of, you name it. My son is allergic to it. I mean, pretty much to one degree or another. And I think that's exactly what it comes from. But then if you take what you just said, right? We'll just take that at face value. We won't have any argument about that. And I'm not here to argue about it. That's for sure. I believe it. But here's the thing. Let's just say we absolutely accept that. Well, what does the body do with thimerosal? What does the body do with mercury? For God's sake, I mean, there is no antibody for that.
Well, it can attempt to take it out, but the problem is that when the body is attacking upon itself, like when you're having an autoimmune response, then what that means is like you're trying to like get it out, and so something like mercury, I mean, that's something that can cross your blood-brain barrier and go into, it take residence in your brain. So is it surprising that it might cause neurological damage? I think not. I mean, there's a whole history to show that when they first started using it in medicines, that it caused all kinds of problems. It was treated people for syphilis, and then it actually caused them to have neuroses and other kinds of neurological issues. So that's clear, but then there's all kinds of other things in there that people don't even think about, which is like the human aborted fetal tissues and the animal monkey kidneys and these types of things, which are animal parts. When that's injected into you, it actually teaches your body to attack upon itself because you're injecting it with cells similar to your own. So that is going to cause an autoimmune response. So then basically you're being injected with something that's going to give you an autoimmune reaction, and then at the same time we're going to throw in some toxins like mercury, formaldehyde, and aluminum. So what do they think is going to happen? It's not rocket science. And like you said, there is some science to say, well, the idea of it makes sense, that you can give somebody a small diluted amount of a disease and then therefore they're going to develop an immunity to that. But vaccination is not immunization. It doesn't create that at all because it destroys your immune response.
Well,
so therefore, if you come into contact with that disease, chances are you're going to get it.
Yeah, and see, that is the point, is that actually you do get it, and the thing is, how severely do you get it? Now, if you can cause a small reaction, I'd much rather have a runny nose than, say, pneumonia, but I don't believe that injecting somebody with pneumonia is a swift idea. It's just,
Right.
it just doesn't make sense to me,
It does. No.
You would think that natural responses would mostly take care of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I've discussed this before with people, but I have never claimed to be an expert on this at all. The only thing that I do know is that after learning what I have, and and with that distance between the other two and this one, is that I'm not vaccinating him. That's all I know for sure. You know what I mean?
And that's all you need to know. You don't want that. You just don't even want the headache, and you keep your child healthy, and then you're not going to have those problems. If they do get the disease, they'll probably be able to fight it. So.
Well, right, and of course, if you want to completely avoid, your aborted fetal tissue and formaldehyde, which is essentially what aspartame becomes after it metabolizes through your body, hooray! You got to stay away from Pepsi too. But it's just notice. It's strange, right? I mean, notice that they seem to keep sticking the same chemicals in our bodies one way or another by adding them into the food supply or the medicine supply, with all different purposes, right, behind them. But listen, I'm really appreciative that you brought this up and dropped these great links.
Sure.
This is a subject that I wasn't even thinking about today, but you know what? It's awfully important.
Indeed, it is. I think there's nothing more. I mean, what's more important than our health, right? I mean, that's a big issue because that's what if we have a fight on our hands, we have to be able to handle it, and taking care of ourselves is one of the ways we can do that. So, but yeah, you're right. The ingredients. I mean, I was just reading something today about the herbicide, the glyphosate herbicide, the Monsanto stuff. I mean, it's in everything.
Right. Well, because it leaches into everything, and then on top of it, you have all these estrogen mimickers that come to you via the packaging of the food. On top of it, it's all a huge biochemical attack on humanity in general. One of those things that I usually cover with, like say somebody like Roger Landry, who comes on and does commentary about this and does back up what he's saying with a bunch of references. But I mean, to be honest with you, it's just one of those things that's so large and so complex, that sometimes, I do. I mean, I admit I often forget to cover stuff like this. Because I just assume everybody knows that all that stuff is bad for you, and you ought to try and get the most natural things you can get your hands on, to put into your bodies in any way, shape, or form, whether it be medicine, food, water, doesn't matter. And of course, we're also confronted with what's being sprayed over our heads, at the same time. And I know, it gets to some people who I somehow convince to tune into this show every now and then, and they think I'm just, a kooky conspiracy theorist. But, it's not theory when I can look out my front door and see this stuff.
Right? It seems like one of the most obvious ones to kind of point out because it's just out there for plain view for everybody to see. So I've had the same thing where sometimes you can explain that to people, and then you say they go outside, and then next thing you know, they're posting pictures of the chemtrails on their Facebook page and stuff, going, "Oh my gosh, they're right."
Right. And I've added in a caller, just so you know.
All right.
Because I called in, I put out the call if you want to just call in. 772 area code, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Judy.
Hello, Judy. How are you tonight?
I've been sick from the aerial spraying. I'm in Florida right now, South Central Florida. I go back a long way with Russ Tanner. Quite a few years. I've lived my life in a face mask, many times with a wet face cloth in it. I have neurological problems from the spraying. I've had to have eye surgery. I know the difference in different cocktails now, different types of spraying. I go back and forth from New Hampshire to Florida. This is not, this is nationwide. It's worldwide, and I would like to live long enough to see an end to this, and unfortunately, I believe in accountability. Maybe that's a bad way to feel, but I want to see accountability for those who are doing this. It is the biggest Holocaust that has, in my opinion, ever taken place on the planet.
You know, you're absolutely right, Judy. It is one of those things, and I'm all for holding anybody accountable, that is doing damage to anyone, in reality. And here's the deal. When it comes to this, it is so widespread. There is no place that I know of that is not somewhat touched by this, that has a population of any significance. And of course, we were just leading into the discussion about geoengineering or chemtrails, as it were. Of course, this is open forum, and I'm I feel badly that you are as ill as you are. Many of us have gotten ill for many different reasons over time, but a lot of us have gotten ill because of what's being sprayed over our heads. And I've seen those crisscross patterns. You're seeing them in Florida. You have seen them in Florida. You've seen them all up and down the coast, as you were saying.
I live in New Hampshire in the kind of a wilderness town, and I border a nature conservancy. And the nature conservancies, nationwide and perhaps worldwide, I'm not sure. They come under different names. But they are definitely modifying the weather. I have a front row seat. I'm terrified in New Hampshire, and I'm also terrified in Florida. They play with lightning guns. They play with all kinds of things. They can make it rain. They can make it snow. They can make the wind blow. I'll huff and I'll puff till I blow your house down. I have watched it all. That sounds strange, but I just happen to park my butt in places, I guess, where I can see it. And I know some of the people that are doing this. I don't know, it's just insanity. It's total insanity.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and of course, Dane Wigginton and Russ Tanner both cover this extremely well. And they're also on this network, and I appreciate their work quite a bit. I did a show recently with Sylvan Henry about it, and honestly, it's one of those things that I wish I wish there was more that could be done. I'm hearing now about some movements to try and get something done regarding putting a stop to this. But what do you know about that stuff, Judy?
Putting a stop to it?
Yeah, like some of the get-togethers that have been happening where they're trying to organize people now.
I've been contacting, although it's kind of useless, contacting our representatives, so to speak, our elected officials. There are a few that are kind of, onto it, like Bernie Sanders in Vermont, Elizabeth Warren, the people that know that things are really, this government is sick, basically. I just keep trying to push. I donate money to those I feel might help the situation. I try to inform people. I put it on Facebook. I did an interview with Russ way back when we both were, suffering when there was I think it was 193 nations were signatory on a moratorium to stop the geoengineering. Russ and I we're talking about that, and I just do what I can from where I am,
we had go ahead.
I can't drive around the country, although I feel better now. I had eye surgery for a long time. It came on quickly, like it has with many people, even children are getting cataracts and eye problems. all kinds of neurological problems, but I couldn't function at all for a while. I could barely walk around. I still have problems on a lot of days, but I've taking things to try and control it and keep my face covered most of the time. Air conditioning in the wintertime in northern New Hampshire is a real tough thing when you're driving down the road, you know. It's zero, but I learned how to try and control it so I could function. It's been, really tough, but I try to, fight it in every area I can when I can.
Well, don't let it stop you, Judy, because, I was born with an eye affliction. I've never held a driver's license. I'm not visually even capable of driving a vehicle. Never have at any point in my life been. And I haven't let it stop me from living in different parts of the country, going to different functions and events that moved me, And at one point, I was only concerned with the JFK assassination, so I went to all those kind of forums and things like that. But I've also been to, 9/11 Truth get-togethers and a few other things over time, a couple of other interesting street actions as they were. You know what? And I don't let any of this stuff stop me. The only thing that seems to limit me is my ability to gather funds and and of course my awareness of the events and things. And I'm also a little bit hesitant because sometimes I'm worried about getting involved with people that are out there to keep us distracted as opposed to informing us. And April, you were trying to say something before?
Oh, yeah, we had a guy on our show, does some really good research, Clint Richardson, and he runs a show on a public broadcast network. Anyway, he was talking about consent, and we were discussing chemtrails, and he says that what they do is they actually run those or spray those with our consent because silence is considered consent. So they'll run ads in the back of the newspaper saying that they're going to be doing this, and no one objects to it, then they consider that to be consensual. The same goes with like fracking in your area. If they send you a notice in the mail that says, oh, we're going to be fracking 20 miles away from you, unless you write in and say, I don't consent to this, I do not consent, you have to use legal verbiage, then they consider that consent. So I haven't delved into that enough to see, how much they actually do print these ads, but that's what he said. He said it's actually done with our consent. So,
well, that's probably in the public notice sections. And this is the way they used to do this stuff. Actually, is they would actually put out a public notice, and if you sought, long and hard enough, you'd find out about it later. Usually, because nobody ever pays attention to those. Generally speaking. They're innocuous things, but that's something interesting. I've never actually heard that before. There is a lot of
that goes on. Like I said, I live in northern New Hampshire, and for example, Quebec Hydro is trying to go through there with their towers and their electric, and they're devaluing everybody's property, but it's not just that they're involved in a land grab. And when she said fracking, they buy up these properties. There's a lot of wealth in the ground in northern New Hampshire and down through the White Mountains. And I'm a photographer. I've put my photography out to protect our lands. We do videos that are showing all over the place. I'm in a major fight, with these large corporations. They don't care about anything or anyone. There's just, so much that they're doing people don't understand, and they don't read the fine print. And we've done a pretty good fight there against what they call Northern Pass, and we the people are winning there. I'm in Florida now, but I'm part of that whole thing, and it's just all part of this aerial spraying and everything that's going on. It's basically transnational corporations taking over and hurting the people, and they don't care. They just don't care. They'll kill their own, devour their own, as I call it, for a dime. They don't care about anything but the almighty dollar, and they come at in all directions. And they're trying to get the people out of northern New Hampshire and northern New England. They don't care how they do it. They heavily spray. because they want the land to do what they want to do with it. So it's all part of the whole game.
Yeah, and that is it's part of a greater agenda, that's for sure. I've often observed that, like I said, every single thing that is connected directly to the viability of a human being is essentially under attack in one way or another, and that is from the spirit. And even if you want to dismiss that because you're not a spiritual person, fine. The psychology to every fiber of your being, every single thing that is essential to life is essentially being chemically attacked or otherwise attacked, one way or another. And this is one of the most deplorable situations, and it is, yet again, you see, April, you bring up something that I don't often talk about, and now Judy did it for me too, and I really appreciate both of you, because these are two things that really we all need to focus on a lot more, and and I appreciate both of you for bringing them up. First of all, the vaccine issue, which I have covered, and also the chemtrail and geoengineering issue. Both of them are things that I've covered. But you know what? You guys remind me where I'm slacking, so I appreciate it.
Oh no, it's no slack. I mean, we can't do everything. Sometimes you get people on our page saying, well, why don't you cover this or why don't you cover that? And we're just like, wow, I mean, because we're just a couple of people and we're trying the best we can. So, I mean, it's as long as everybody's out there and kind of looking at what's going on and trying to delve a little deeper, I think we're doing our job, because the health issue is obviously a big one, but then so is geopolitics and everything, police state and so on and so forth. You could just go on forever. So we can't all be experts on everything. We have to do,
I think what we're fighting here, I call the unmentionable, unimaginable. That's what we're fighting.
That's an awesome way to quantify it, actually, because it's just this interlocking thing that, I'm never quite able to put into a phrase. But say that again, the unmentionable, unimaginable? Is that what you said?
That's right, yes, that's what I call it. I mean, a lot of people don't want to discuss it, and when I post it on Facebook or post it wherever, in emails, I call it the unmentionable, unimaginable, and you can turn it around whichever way you want to put it.
Right.
It's unimaginable, and that makes it unmentionable.
Yeah.
Either way works.
But you can understand why it's so, you can't start off, with this big grand conspiracy when you're talking to people because it's so hard to fathom. It is unimaginable that somebody's going to be actively trying to hurt other people. Well, why? It doesn't make sense, but yet it's happening. So I don't know sometimes it's hard to explain that to people.
When it finally hit me, I mean, I know now that I was attacked years ago. I had a heart attack at age 46, and I felt the same way that I have felt for the past few years. I'm taking meds, and I'm doing everything I know to prevent, anything like that again. I know this is taking my life. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's taking my life, but it's like I just couldn't believe it. And when it happened again, it was just a simple thing. I couldn't drive to go to a baby shower, and it was my granddaughter, and I told my daughter-in-law, I said, she's not going to believe this, but I can't drive, 100 miles down the road because I'm sick, but you're not going to believe me when I tell you this. It's stuff in the air, and I see jets spraying it, and it's making me sick. And she said, I know what you're talking about. They were going to put a show on the History Channel, on one of the stations like that, and just before it was going to be aired, they took it off. They weren't going to show it. She says, I know exactly what you're talking about. You're not crazy, and I don't think you're crazy. It is the stuff in the air. And I'm like, oh, wow, It's like, oh, my gosh, because I didn't know that way back when George H.W. Bush was in office, that he was doing this very same thing. I was feeling the same way and had a heart attack way back when. And it just all came to light, and it's like, oh, my God, this is unbelievable.
Right.
And every day of my life since realizing that, I mean, I never shut up. I just never shut up. I don't care. I mean, it hurts me that people look at me and think I'm crazy, but I never shut up. Mm-hmm. I tell people, I call people, I talk to people on the phone, people, buying an air purifier. They never heard of chemtrails, Allen Air or whatever. They've heard of it now because I never shut up.
Well, Judy, you want to tell people how to find you on Facebook?
Do I tell them on Facebook? Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm saying, do you want to tell people how to find you on Facebook? Because you say you put out a lot of information on there as well. I mean, I don't know if you want to just announce, and get some new friend requests or something.
Well, I think most people know because I go on Global Skywatch all the time, and I talk to different people. I mean, I put up photographs to try and protect the environment. I put up things against aerial spraying and stuff like that. I'm not sure. Are you talking about starting a special site on it?
No, I was just saying that since you're already putting out this information, if you wanted people to find it, where they could find it, that's all. Point people at it. That are listening, because not everybody, not everybody who might be listening to me might be aware of Global Skywatch and stuff like that. So,
I think I'm not sure how it works, but I do communicate with Global Skywatch, and I put stuff on there, and I've done, a lot of photography and stuff like that. I mean, it's so sickening. I mean, here in Florida, just for example. And I think I put these photos up, and I think it goes back to my Facebook, but not sure. But they have signs down on Indian River, beware, caution manatees, be careful, manatees are here. And then they had all these, I guess you'd call it, articles in newspapers or whatever, because the pelicans are dying, the manatees are dying, the dolphins are dying, and I took photographs of the chemtrails. I mean, so heavy over Indian River with the caution manatee sign in front of it, and then I put up the newspaper articles that they really don't know why all these animals are dying, all these creatures and all the plants and everything. And I mean, how stupid is that? All you have to do is tip your neck back, if you can still do it, and look up. Why are these things dying? We don't know. And I do things like that, put up the photographs related to the articles, and I do that periodically with what I can find and whatever. But it's just so obvious, and why are people so? Why can't they see?
It's cognitive dissonance. It's called cognitive. It's called cognitive dissonance. An inability to see that, And I mean, when we had Dane Wigington on our show a while ago, we've only covered chemtrails slightly, except for when we did the show with him once. Probably a year and a half ago. He talked about ways to protect yourself against it, and he said that some of these air filters actually don't filter out what's being blown because the particles are so tiny, they're nanoparticles, so they can't actually pick them up. However, I've done some research on using plants in your house. There were some studies to show that plants actually can pick up the nanoparticles and some of these things that fly in the air, like aluminum and stuff like that. I don't know if that would be what would be a therapeutic amount, if that's a serious problem for some people, but certainly couldn't hurt to add a few plants to your home. I can send people the links on that. There was a study by NASA on doing biohomes and seeing how the plants, certain types of plants especially, had ability to pull toxins from the air.
I know. I've been planting all around this house here, too, and, of course, in northern New Hampshire, we have trees all around, but it's so bad up there. It's like it's even worse there because it collects in the hills, I think. We have no industry left in northern New Hampshire, but I don't know. I think the plants would help, but I'm to the point where I'm tired of trying to protect my life and worry about my family and friends and see, the sickness and everything, that I think it's time. And I don't think being kind and turning the other cheek and letting these people off, I think it's time. I'm 67 years old, and I'm ready. Somebody give me a missile launcher and show me how to use it, and I'm ready. I'm done, I'm not,
right.
I don't want to be Mrs. Nice anymore. These people, I don't think, I can already see the writing on the wall. If it does end, they're going to walk, and that's not right. This is a massacre. This is a total massacre. It's a Holocaust, and I'm very angry about it, and I'm ready, and I don't think all the, praying, meditating, being kind, I don't think that's working. People have been begging worldwide for a number of years, and I think it's time. We have, just for example, we have 330 million people in this nation, and half of this nation believes that we should only vote when we go to the polls for members of two families. Give me a break. It's brainwashing. It's not going to end. It's time to end it. And I've never been a warrior, but I'm getting to the point. I'm tired of being sick, and I love my family, and I care about my family, and I'm willing to do something more than just beg and plead to put an end to it. And I don't know. I don't know how much longer it's going to take. I hope many other people feel the same way, because I don't think it would have to end up as a bloodbath if people would finally take a stand. And that's why I have spent the past few years...
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Whoops. Okay.
Whatever.
Well, that was a caller I was trying to add in there, and...
Okay, I'll let you go.
Sorry about that. No, it's okay. But look, I really appreciate your time, Judy, and I really hope that you do better. And I would say that I would pray for you, but I don't exactly pray. So, but my best wishes are all yours.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I hope the same for everybody.
Right.
And I hope we can get a stop to it.
Absolutely. Have a good night, Judy.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, let's see. Who do we have on now? 347? Hello. Okay. Maybe not.
You lost that one, huh?
Well,
you're going to have to lose this one, too, because I'm about to I have to go and take care of the wee ones. But it's been really good talking to you. I'm glad we finally got to talk in person. So thank you. Thanks for inviting me, Chuck.
Oh, absolutely, April. Listen, anytime that you want to stop in, or if you ever need a JFK expert, let me know.
We interviewed Jim Mars a while ago. Just what say you on his research, since you're an expert?
Mars's research is interesting, but it's a little bit behind what has been discovered in the past 20 years or so. But Jim is an interesting guy, and yeah. I like him in general, but it's a little bit outdated, let's just say. But anyway, really appreciate it. But he's always an amazing guy, and I'd love to have him on too. By the way,
what's up, brother?
Okay. Hey,
what's
all right.
up, Lee? You know me, man. I'm just living and screaming and shouting.
There we go. April, have a good night.
Okay, you too. Good night, guys.
Listen, brother. I'm eating my 2-foot porta sub cold cut with everything.
Are you guys hearing me or what?
Now, how are you going to go and make a motherfucker that ain't ate today fucking think about food? That's damn it, possible.
Are you guys hearing me?
Well, if you come on up here, you'd be good.
6 minutes until...
Okay. Well... Oh, boy. Alrighty. Let's just see now. Barry. Oh, Barry. Barry Prince. Oh, hey, Barry, there you are.
Hang on, I'm just getting rid of some background noise here, Charles. Hold on for a second.
No problem.
Okay, hi. Yeah.
No problem.
Awesome guest, man. She's left, Charles?
Well, April Bowden from Truth or Talk Radio, who's also on UCY, she decided to drop in with me there, and we had an interesting conversation first about vaccines, and then started on chemtrails, and then Judy called in from, I think she was from New Hampshire, but she was currently in Florida, so not sure where she is exactly, but she was talking about the geoengineering thing and exactly the toxins in the atmosphere and so on and so forth. And she just started talking about aquatic life dying off that she was seeing all around the shores. Now, of course, this led me immediately to a little discussion I had with you not too long ago. Barry Prince, everybody, by the way, real quick, because I forgot to do this for April, but Barry Prince is the host of The Big Puzzle. Which still airs on Shake and Wake, right?
Yeah, every Sunday, 3 p.m.
Right, every Sunday, 3 p.m. And, The Big Puzzle. See, I got it right still, Barry.
You're on it, Charles.
I'll tell you, it only takes 10 or 20 times, right?
Yeah, it's been about, 4 or 5 months, 6 months, something like that. But, it's all good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I really appreciated the passion of your last guest, Charles. You can absolutely hear the passion in the woman's voice, and my hope is that everybody becomes passionate about what's going on in our world right now, because the die-off of sea life, the conversation I had with you last week there, Charles, I was out on the ocean with Dana Dunford, who has the site on YouTube, and you can punch it up. It's called The Nuclear Proctologist. He started documenting the effects on the West Coast and the very noticeable die-offs that he was experiencing around Powell River, which is on Vancouver Island. He currently, he left Vancouver Island, did an excursion up the coast, up the west coast of Vancouver Island, did some exploring on the Inside Passage also, documented it all on film, and it is all on his website. It's called The Nuclear Proctologist. I'll say that one more time. But I went out with Dana last week, and I've been up on the north coast of British Columbia here for about 35 years of my life now. And I have a very, very good memory of what the ocean looks like and what it has looked like for the years that I've been out and experienced it. I have been diving the ocean here for about 33 years minimum. And I really got a good feel of what the aquatic life looks in the ocean, even at this time of year. In the winter, of course, we have a lot of our species that migrate and don't hang around for the cold water. But the one thing that we really found shocking is that we could not find a single starfish in Prince Rupert Harbor or around Lucy Island or around Devastation, or also one other spot that we checked in shallow tide waters. We couldn't find starfish. We explored low tide pools on the islands, and the abundance of life that I would normally see there wasn't there. A few species still. I did an 18-minute dive on a place called the Tree Knobs, and you can Google that. It's outside of Prince Rupert, out by a place called Porcher Island. And years ago, we dove on those things, and boy, it's like when you break the surface, even in the wintertime, it's like breaking into a panorama of color. Summertime especially, it's just abundant. But even in the wintertime, there's a real growth of sea life on these knobs. They're very, very small knobs that grow off the bottom of the ocean. And on my descent down and coming down to these knobs, I really kind of stepped back and look at them, because a lot of the knobs I could touch with my hands. The rocks were bare. Going by Tugwell Island, I noticed a real depletion in bull kelp, which is a massive area for bull kelp. We didn't see very, very, very few birds. Now, sure, it is the wintertime, and there isn't as much around in the wintertime for birds, and a lot of them do migrate, but you still see seabirds and dolphins. Even in the wintertime, we'll see dolphins, and I didn't see any of them. Whether they're out taking a holiday or going somewhere else right now, Charles, I don't know, but the ocean just gave me a feeling of being very sick, and Dana talked to me for hours about what he's documented. They said you can go to his website and have a look. But anybody that doesn't feel that the ocean is being affected by either radiation or the amount of plastic or whatever's going on out there, I don't want to say 100% it's Fukushima. I don't want to say it's this. I don't want to say it's that. But we are seeing something happen in our ocean that is shocking, my friend. And I do lead towards Fukushima. You hear a lot of controversy about it, but I've looked into it enough, and I listened to enough people talking about it, and I'm experiencing it and seeing it myself and hearing about down in California and reading reports, and up in Alaska, the reports that we've read about their seafood. it's a fact that they were detecting levels 4 times above safe levels, and this was documented in mainstream media up in Anchorage this year. They were taking samples off the shelf and testing and finding levels 4 times above the acceptable levels set down by the U.S. government. So there's lots of stuff going on, Charles. I mean, the sites up and down the coast here are monitoring huge spikes. Roger's going to tell you all about this when he gets on, because he did an article on it. And, Roger really researches his information before he says anything. And I have a great deal of respect for what he posts. And some of the facts that he posts kind of just really knocked me off my chair. We are definitely getting radiated. If anybody doesn't think we are, I think they're being misled.
Well, right, and when you combine this with the with the whole geoengineering thing, like we were just talking about, I mean, the biochemical attack is all over the map and is absolutely devastating to every last one of us. And health is one of the largest issues out there, regarding really freedom and trying to get back to being the natural human beings that we're supposed to be at this point, at least during this part of our spiritual journey, as it were. And speaking of spiritual journey, just hang on a second, Barry, because I got Maria Heller on the line. Maria, how are you?
Hey, Chuck, I didn't want your big auspicious show tonight getting by me without hopping in and saying hi. I'm doing great.
Oh, hey, look, I really appreciate that, Maria. It's kind of all over the map, and it's kind of coming together in a chaotic fashion, but it's interesting because we started talking about vaccines. We've gone on to geoengineering, and actually touched on Fukushima now. So who knows? Maybe we'll get all over the map by the time we're done. But of course, the health of the human being is one of those things that's one of the biggest challenges,
Oh, I understand, but people have to get, we're living in a mixture of chemical soup, from the chemtrails to the vaccines to the genetically modified food. Now they're moving really quick with transhumanism. I saw an article, and some of my friends were actually excited about a patch you can put on your arm and become a living computer. And when people, look at all these things that are supposed to be for our convenience, for our good, they don't realize the ultimate goal of the 1%ers is to get rid of all of us, replace us with transhuman or robots, and actually they have no use for any of us, as this new Congress is just about to prove.
Yeah, well, I don't think the old Congress did much to prove it the other way either. But
just the key word. I was looking at the stats on this Congress, and you got 80% of them are men and white. 92% of them are Christian. So if you've been following their first 2 days in office, they're already attacking every social program known to man and already attacking women's rights. And these people, it's got to be at least 13 years ago when I did a show on dominionism. And if your listeners are not familiar with dominionism, they better start Googling it right away, because these lunatics have their own biblical constitution that they want to slip into place. And with this new Congress, and now I'm looking at all the same old losers looking to jump back into the presidential race, we're in for quite an interesting couple of years.
Absolutely.
And I don't care what religion anybody has. I just think they should keep it to themselves. I think we should actually not elect anybody that isn't an atheist, because they don't represent America.
Well, and that's the thing, is that your personal interpretation of God is your personal interpretation, and and there is supposed to be a little separation between that and legislation, but of course, hey, morality and legislation don't really go together anyway at this point. It's all about obeying the greater corporate gods, as it were. And there I am using that word God again, because it does seem as though they are religiously.
When they talk about their God, I say, where's the evidence? Okay, we have more evidence on 9/11. We have more evidence on aliens and UFOs. Where's the evidence on what they're shoving down everybody else's throat? I mean, you want to believe in, Kermit the Frog being God, go right ahead. That's your personal business, but don't push it off on everybody else.
Oh, absolutely. Look, Maria, I do know it's your night off, and I really just appreciate you even stopping in for a second to say hi.
Well, I didn't want to miss it.
I appreciate it. You know, because as some of my listeners might know, I've actually said on the air, and you've said on the air too, that I must have been your son in another life. You know, and sad to say I'm not your son in this life, but
I'll adopt you, no problem. You know, right before I got on with you, I was watching, I guess it's 4 hours of that Roswell alien interview revisited. And I know the gentleman you were speaking to before I came on was asking a question that was answered already in probably the first 15 minutes of that. And, of course, I'm going to watch the whole thing because I'm curious. But the true ticket is, unless we realize that we're spiritual beings having a human existence, we're going to get caught up in this matrix, and we're going to get stuck here, and we're going to feel the fear. You know, I heard that one woman, you know, was all in a panic, ready to strap on some weapons to go on a killing spree. That means you're trapped in this matrix. If you can't handle what's happening around you and balance it out with real spirituality, you're going to get sucked in.
You got it. You got it. Maria, I'm telling you, I love you, and I can't wait to do another one of those long conversations with you either on...
Chuck, anytime. Good luck tonight. I'm sure you guys are going to have a blast. So say hello to all my regular friends that'll be dropping in on you.
Sure will. Thank you, Maria.
My pleasure. Bye.
Everybody, you can check out Maria at maria.net, of course. And, gee, did we actually join the 347 in? I think we did. 347, are you there? Oh, okay.
It really happened in there.
Oh, there we are. Dear goodness, can you guys hear me over there?
Yep.
Oh, is this Chuck?
Ah, there we go. Good Lord, I was trying to join you guys in, and then, of course, I was letting Maria Heller speak for a few minutes. Couldn't get you guys on in there, but now you guys hear me, right?
Chuck, can you hear me?
I can.
All right, now we got you. All right, I'm going to...
Can't hear you now.
Network as well. I'm sorry, man.
All right, I got you guys up. Are you still with us, Chuck?
Yeah, I'm still here. Let me tell everybody on my air. That that's Lee Peer and Austin Thomas. Okay? Truth Emerges Radio. All right, so there. And I think I'm being... Yep, and I think I'm being heard on their end.
I want to give some kudos to our special calling guest on this side. He is the one and only, the Swedish statist, Jimmy Quersimini.
Yes.
Oh boy, and I have Barry Prince, and I have Barry Prince on this side, guys. Barry Prince, who is the host of the Big Puzzle. So I don't know how the Swedish statist fits into that, but I think we're going to find out pretty soon here, aren't we? Oh my!
I reckon so, man. It's an honor to be on the air with all of you tonight, man. It really is. Even Jimmy, the Swedish statist, man. As much as I don't like you, but I do like you. It's kind of a little bit crazy, man. But here we are. One of the biggest simulcasts of the year, ladies and gentlemen. The coalition never stops trying to produce, man. We're always trying to put it out there and trying to be out there. It's really and to be a part of the Ochelli effect tonight.
Hey, and I was rolling it out. We're going to let Jimmy speak first, and then I want to get feedback from everybody else in the round table. What the hell happened in Paris?
In Paris? Well, two guys who had been in Yemen.
Lie.
Well, I don't know. They said that they had been there, and I don't know if to what extent they were controlled by Yemen, but I guess they were supposed to, I don't know, make some kind of statement or whatever, but I think it's more like an excuse. I think it was more of an excuse and then go on a rampage. I think it could be, I think that the motive could have been that they were gonna have a cartoon of one of the ISIS leaders And I think that may have been one of the supposed reasons why they chose to attack.
Well, Jimmy, can you tell me just exactly how the same person that died in the bombings in 2011 at the same place, mind you, just all of a sudden shows up and is pretty much every person that they depicted as dying in that situation?
Who are you talking about?
You haven't seen that picture?
No, I don't know which picture.
Yeah, man. Oh, well, then by all means, let me enlighten you, my friend. See, there's actually a picture out there floating around, and photographic evidence, actually, that is floating around showing that all the people that died in that supposed strike there, they're all the same guy.
Where? In Yemen? Or?
No, in Paris.
Yemen, no, France, my friend.
You guys are a little ahead of me on this. You're telling me that there is actually a singular victim kind of floating around as the total of all the victims? Is that what you're telling me?
That's right. I'll put it right out here on the radio. I've seen photographic evidence and backed it up myself with my research. You guys know how I do. That pretty much shows that the only person that died or supposedly it died was played by the same guy. It's called a false flag, kid. I mean, if you never watched the shooting right up close, watched it in slow motion,
right.
Shit, you can watch it in damn real time, dude, and you notice that the damn bullet never goes anywhere near his head.
Well, this victim was supposedly shot in the head, and again, we get the same shit, no blood, and no recoil from an AR-15. Imagine that.
Yeah, and also...
So you guys are talking about Ahmed, right?
47. It's an AK-47, to be quite honest, folks, for everybody out there, but everybody who has ever shot an AK-47, I'm sorry, if you're shooting something at close range, within 2 feet, which the video depicts, there's an explosion of blood, skull, and brain. I don't care if you shoot them in the throat or in the head. It's going to happen. That 7.65 millimeter bullet will shred bodies. That's what it's meant to do.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the policeman, right?
Yeah, the cop that got shot on the ground.
Yeah.
If you shot a person that close with that caliber of rifle, you would find brain parts 10 feet away. You would have seen an explosion of the brain, and you see nothing, absolutely nothing. So if that picture is real and it can be authenticated, that's actual footage, there is something very seriously fucked up in Denmark.
There you go. That's Barry Prince, by the way, guys, over there on the other end.
I've been watching it and studying it, guys, and everything I've looked at, if that's the actual footage, then we better get it on CNN and ask them where the blood is and where's the guts and why didn't that head explode.
Well,
that's why they've got it blocked out on me, Charles.
I'm going to put this out there. That footage was released by Al Jazeera, and I'm not. I mean, they're slightly more reputable the Zionist media.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll talk about that, kid.
So, I mean, again, you have to consider the source and everything you look at. All the video I saw was from Al Jazeera, and again, I mean, I take everything with them with a grain of salt, just as much as the lamestream media, the Zionist-run media, same difference.
Yeah, with technology, it could have been duped, or they can actually technology now they can just about implement anything into a picture. So who knows, if we're being duped or not.
Well, right, and of course...
Why are you saying that?
Why are we saying which part?
I'm talking about the policeman getting shot on the ground, okay? I mean, sure, they released this video, but I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying that technology now, they can take a video like that and cut it and splice it and make it look whatever they want it to look like, I mean, they can do that kind of stuff. I believe it's authentic, but, who am I? Who am I? I wouldn't put it past, they're looking at
brother we're talking today.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
talking today on the TV.
It looked like Michael J. Fox was filming it with a Parkinson's attack.
But why would his brother get on TV and say that he was calling for peace and calm, and he was talking about his shot brother and everything?
Money. Come on, you know that's the only whore that none of us men ever turned.
No.
It's the only
no
whore.
Way. No way.
There's 100 ways. There's 100 ways to state. Go ahead.
Well, is money the only whore that us men don't turn down? No, we will by all means, just kowtow and get down to where we can. Oh, yes, please give us that money. Please give us an investment that we can make our lives just a wee bit better. Will it last? Is it something that you can have for the rest of your life? Fuck no, it ain't. But they do that.
Well, tell you this too, simply because you have a character that comes out and states that he is somebody or whatever else. I mean, you got to verify every single thing, because these guys, look. I'm not somebody who goes immediately for the crisis actor narrative regarding most things, but it is done. It is done. There's plenty of staged events. There's plenty of individuals that come out, that are kind of wheeled out as props for the puppet show, as it were, and I don't buy any of it at this point in time. I don't know what to make of it outside of it's yet another mechanism by which we can ramp up the whole listen, be very, very afraid of the radicalized Westerner, as it were, and of course they can't pull it off too well in this country yet. They've tried it in Canada, now they've gone to France. Of course, I did take note immediately though that the shooters weren't immediately killed on the scene like normal, so that kind of made me scratch my head for a little bit. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Well,
actually, I can tell you.
Go ahead. Then I'll add my thought.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. I can tell you one thing. There was a Muslim who lives in Gaza. He wrote to me in a personal message on Facebook, and he told me that he basically defended this. He said that this was the right thing to do by these guys. He is pretty much the only Muslim I have seen, even in my country. Almost every Muslim have protested this and said that this was wrong. But he, who lives in Gaza and want a caliphate and all that, he said that this was right. And he said that offending the Prophet Muhammad, that's not a part of free speech. He posted a cartoon.
Jimmy, I do have to bring this up. There's nothing in the Quran that says you cannot depict Muhammad.
Okay, no. But this man who is a Muslim, who is devout, who even defends the Islamic State, he said that he defended this act. He said that this was right. He said that France was wrong to be in Afghanistan and Mali and other places like Syria and stuff.
No, I'll agree with him on that, man. It is absolutely wrong that we're in any of these places. We really should never have
France.
a military presence there.
But France.
I'm just saying, there is no spot in the Quran, okay, that says that depicting Muhammad in a cartoon or depicting Muhammad anywhere else is, something that is blasphemous. It really doesn't matter.
You actually tortured yourself with one of those English copies of the Quran like I did some years ago, didn't you, Lee?
No, actually, I had to learn Arabic and figure it out on my own.
Wow, okay. See, now, a lot of people wouldn't think that of you, but okay. Wow.
I know, I'm a drunken Midwest madman who comes on the radio and cusses daily, but still and yet, ladies and gentlemen, I've done a little bit of research, and I wouldn't have gotten to this line of thought if I hadn't, thought a little bit. That's just the way I see it, man.
Well, this all goes back to the same point I make about these man-created religions. I mean, be it Catholicism, be a Baptist, be you a Mormon, be you a radical Muslim. I mean, there's radical sects. I mean, all we have to look is look at Jonesboro Baptist. Are those guys some Fruit Loops or what?
Absolutely. They're an abomination. They're an abomination of religion.
Right. That use religion as their cover, as a shield, as a tool to basically spew nonsense.
Well, how many 503s do you see?
Situation that we're in now. I mean, seriously, what has
we have
every major the last 20 years? Religion. Do you think does anybody out there in their existential thinking that, by all means, think that God really wants us warring with each other?
No, he doesn't. That's man, buddy.
Exactly.
And man will abuse religion. He has done it all through history. We see churches now taking stances against the U.S. government, harboring fugitives, supporting pedophilia. I mean, that is nothing of God. That is man's abomination of religion. 5032C churches are running wild. They're being subsidized by government to implement programs. They're setting us up for the end game. That's all unfolding in front of our face. But a country, I believe that the United States of America, let me just finish my statement and then I'll let you talk, my friend. I believe that the United States of America was founded on Christian fundamentals, and it has got away from those fundamentals. We see in the United States of America now a level of morality that it has absolutely hit bottom. And anytime, my friend, in human history, that morality has hit bottom in a country, that country has fallen apart. What do we see in the United States of America today? Only statement I'll make, buddy. Go ahead.
Shit, Bing, fuck you. You fucking
my little thought
on the head. I just said it better.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, you got to look at what's going on in this world. Look at the satanic influence in sexualization of children. Our entertainment industry has gone right down the tubes. Everywhere you look now in any entertainment industry, it is all satanic, all occult themed production, all emphasizing this. You look at people like Beyonce. You look at the Grammy Awards this year. I just about fell off my chair. You look at, I mean, just look what's going on with the sexualization of our children. We're destroying our youth from all aspects, from the morality in our school system, our health, our food. Everything is designed to destroy the youth of America.
Very, to be quite honest, I think I couldn't have even stomached any of that award show crap from the mainstream media. Everybody knows that I stopped watching them or being a part of them or anything.
Yeah, I had to watch it just to see it, buddy. That's all. It made me sick. I had to watch it just to see it. Go ahead.
I don't think you've got to check in what the enemies are doing. I understand that.
Well, it goes further than that. Look at what happened. Look at what happened with the Olympics. Look at what happened with the opening ceremonies and all the Illuminati and Luciferian and satanic symbolism going on. It's more than just it's across the board.
It is. It's worldwide. Of course it is. It's right in your face. If you can't see it, you're blind.
It's not like kids, it's not like they're targeting, the 18-25 demographic, or they're not targeting the Generation X or the millennials. They're targeting everyone with this hogwash.
Exactly.
That's what it is. It's hogwash.
Yeah, buddy, and you know what I really see? Go ahead, and I'd like to make one more thought. You know, what I really see and disturbs me the most is the attack on the moralization of our children, how children now at 5, 6, 7 years old perceive the world in a way that is not healthy to their mental growth. I mean, they are being exposed to murder, rape, mayhem, sexuality. Children, girls now, if you do studies across the board, and these are hardcore studies, girls at 9 years old think their whole purpose in life is to be a sexual object to a man. That is what we're raising in our society as the moral base for the future of America. America will crumble on a moral base like that. That's what I see unfolding on this planet right now, guys.
I'm so glad that I didn't raise my daughters that way.
Oh, so hi, brother. I raised my children on a solid moral foundation. I gave them a moral basis to force their or to function on. And I, as a child, I was given a very strong moral base, and it's carried me through my life. Now I see that under attack.
I can see through all the trials and tribulations, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, my kids ain't going to follow along every bit of advice that I've ever given them. But at least I can sit back and look at my kids and what they're doing with their lives and know that, hey, at least you're doing it your way. You're not being predicated by a slave state. You're not being dictated by what I told you by all means, because they keep on doing the exact opposite. But, that's the thing about kids, man. You can put them out there.
Anybody?
You can make them, well, you can teach them just how to be great people, and in the end, they're going to make their own decisions, man.
Well, right. That's what I say about mine all the time. Listen, I got Roger Landry wanting to jump in. You guys mind?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, bring Roger in.
Bring it on.
Liberty. We got Brandon Council over here as well, so the round table's only going to grow, boys.
Exactly, and hopefully, let's see what we got here. Roger should be joining us in just a sec. Sometimes his Skype is a little delayed, so trying to grab him right now.
He'll do that.
Yeah, well, you know how it is. I mean, the technology is always working against us, Lee. You know, but I definitely want to get Roger in.
I mean, for Pete's sakes, when I tried to post during the day, it's bling, bling, bling. It always happens. But then when I get on air later at night, everything just seems to slow down. It's so disheartening.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, hey, man, I want to get so much information out to everybody that I can, but you guys aren't helping me. You're kind of fucking me up.
I just brought in Mr. Brandon Council from while you were sleeping. Are you hot there, Brandon? I got you hot, buddy.
NWO, what's up, man?
NW,
ladies and gentlemen.
And the hizzy, for shizzy.
Brandon Council.
We, Austin, how you guys doing?
Yeah,
doing
great. If there's a smarter motherfucker that I was involved with beyond these points and times, I would reference them to you. Because, man, you are the walking encyclopedia. There's a reason that we call you that. Dude, I love you to death, brother.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it, man. Dude, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for, the constant support and just love, man. I mean, we got to start somewhere. But I was wondering if I could probably jump in real quick on a few things that you guys were talking about, if you don't mind.
No problem.
Well, you guys were mentioning about the thing that happened in France, and I don't know too much about the actual incident per se. I understand, on a global, on a political, international scale, I guess I can kind of understand certain things that would essentially happen to countries like France, like Germany. I said it before, like they issued the sanctions, I said it afterwards, and it's there in the financial markets as well. But more so, I wanted to entertain the idea that you guys were mentioning about, not a lot of blood. And I did happen to quickly turn on, I think, RT News, I think it was, on RTNews.com live, and I saw that one shot there, and then I just quickly lost interest in it. But one of the things that I do find interesting is that I think somebody was saying that, okay, shots were fired or whatever. Somebody was saying it earlier, and then not I don't know. You're saying I was thinking maybe it wasn't like whoever shot the person, basically, because I hear the no blood, and so like if there was no blood, is the suggestion then? My question is that if there's no blood on the victim, then my question is then, is that suggesting that the person was still alive, or what's the deal there? And if so, if he wasn't dead and he was still alive, then maybe, or even if he was dead, and because if let's think of it like this: if it was a shot from somewhere else besides what we were seeing at the time, maybe it looked like it was being fired from a gun, but a gun can host blanks and give off flash and powder as well. So if it was like if it was a sniper or something and it was a headshot, it could be embedded in the muscle in the brain. So that could be a reason on why you might not see it.
Would have fucking expelled the experimental brain matter out onto the street, man. That's what the shot shows. That's what the video shows. Is that there's no blood. There's nothing.
Yeah, right. So then my question is then is that suggesting that the person is essentially alive then?
Well, what would it suggest to me?
Yeah. I just want to put this out there. If the person was shot in the head, there would be brain matter and blood splatter everywhere. If the shot missed, I mean, an AR-57 from, 3-4 feet from concrete, wouldn't that blow out a chunk of that concrete?
Yeah.
Right, but what if the person was hit, but he wasn't hit with a bullet from that gun? What if he was hit from a distance, from afar, from maybe, it may have been a sniper rifle.
And then here. Have any of you ever shot at AK-47?
No, but I shot
it was an AR-15.
I've shot a groundhog. I've shot a groundhog from 20 feet away with a 30 cal. There was nothing left of the groundhog.
What happened?
But I'll tell you what.
What happened? And that's not what happened on that video, now is it?
No, it's not. What I see clearly, and if you look at it really closely, I've looked at it about 18 times now. If that, like I said, if that is the confirmed footage, now you said it was put up by Al Jazeera, but if that is the confirmed footage, what it shows me is a staged event because, like you said, buddy, you get shot that close with an AK-47, your brain, it doesn't matter if it goes anywhere in your head, your brain is going to literally explode. There's so much muzzle velocity and power. It's not just velocity, it's your foot-pounds of pressure that comes out of that gun at that range would blow a head apart.
What happens from
end of argument.
What happens from a ballistic standpoint is a pressure cavity is formed in the skull because of the displacement based on the tract of the bullet. And therefore, you would have an explosion of skull and brain and everything else all over the place. Right. And if that's not present, it's not present. I do have, by the way, guys, I do have Roger Landry now. So, Roger.
Go ahead.
Roger, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing.
We have Rogers over here, so let's get everybody in the damn conversation for Pete's sakes, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to get Roger in real quick because I know he's probably gonna need to run and do some other things because this man is always busy. So I just wanted to stick him in real quick here.
Hello, guys. This is a really, really great conversation. Actually, I just did a little research on that about 2 hours ago. And the video you're talking about, if you take a look at the point where this gentleman, or I use that term very loosely, pulls the trigger, and you take a look at the angle of the muzzle, and you take a look at the ricochet off the sidewalk, the angle of the muzzle actually lines up with the ricochet, showing me that that gentleman was never hit in the head because everything each and every one of you have said is correct. Had that gentleman been hit in the head, even with an ultra-high velocity bullet, there would have been bone ricochet. It would have splintered as it exited the skull, it would have splintered the bone. None of that is shown. But if you take a look at the gunman, when he's basically pulling that trigger, because you can see the movement of his arm, and you take a look at the angle The angle of the muzzle, and you take a look at the shot, the puff that appears on the sidewalk, the angle of the muzzle lines up with the puff that appears on the sidewalk, not with the head of this gentleman. He was not hit by that gunman in the head.
Right, Roger. At muzzle velocity, a .30 caliber is going 3,200 feet a second and has 3,400 pounds of foot energy at muzzle. You're talking muzzle velocity. That head would explode. What the ricochet, Roger, is about the power of a .30 caliber hitting concrete at that range, my friend.
But if you just line up the muzzle with the ricochet off the ground,
it lines up.
Because it doesn't take very long for a bullet to travel that far at that velocity. You will see that the muzzle of that rifle is lined up with the shot ricocheting off the sidewalk, not with the head of the gentleman that was supposedly shot in the head with that rifle.
Right, and with an intervening structure of any kind, when a bullet strikes anything, it's going to change the direction. This is one of those big, huge arguments. Of course, you know why I know about this, but the point is that, especially if it hits skull and everything else, you're going to have a difference in the change of trajectory, versus it's not going to travel in a straight line. It just doesn't, regardless of whether it hits soft tissue or hard tissue.
Guys, you have to answer a lot of questions here if this is true. I mean, you have to answer, first of all, why they would lie about this. I mean, they already have 10 people dead inside. And you have to also answer, where is it? Where is the
flat reason why they would lie about this, man. It's only for control, man. Only for control.
Exactly.
What do you mean control? I mean, they have had 3 days of total chaos almost.
Well, they've rounded up 900 Muslims since the attack, and they're basically almost at the stage of martial law, almost in a lockdown stage. It's just about control. It's like exactly what you said. This really stinks to me of just another false flag. They've done it how many times in history? It fits their agenda. Wouldn't you say, Roger?
Why would they lie about it? Why would they lie about Pearl Harbor? Why would they lie about the Gulf of Tonkin? Why would they lie about 9/11? Why would they lie about Sandy Hook? Why would they lie about... Hey, I could go on and on and on. Why would they lie? They would lie because it focuses a point within their agenda. And that point has to do with control. It's not the control of the population immediately. They want to see the rioting. They want to see the upheaval. They want to see that because that facilitates them pulling the noose tighter around our necks.
Exactly. Yeah. Hit it right on the head, buddy. You hit it right on the head.
Okay, but then there are more questions. There are more questions here. Because, I mean, then
I agree with you.
You must say that if this is true, that the guys that supposedly shot him didn't shoot him, so they were in on this. And you must say also that the guy that supposedly died didn't die and was in on this. And you must say also that the cops were in on this also. I mean, it's a huge conspiracy.
Really?
Well, how many people were in on 9/11, my friend? How many people were in on 9/11? Come on. They have the power. They have the resources.
Possibility is a reality. I mean, really, come on, dude. Jimmy,
sorry, I couldn't hear all of that.
Older than that, man.
No, actually, I
really
like the questions. I apologize, sir. I don't know your name, but I like your questions because what that does is that brings out the meat of our arguments. That forces people like myself and Austin and Barry and everybody else to say what we mean and to define it. I appreciate the questions you're asking because if you don't ask them to us here, right now, in this conversation, somebody else is going to ask them to us later.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My name is Jimmy.
Jimmy, it's a pleasure to meet you, my friend.
Likewise.
And I'll tell you, this is often the argument regarding, how many people it takes to form a conspiracy. It doesn't take a huge amount of people to be in the know, actually. A lot of them go along to get along. If you think most of the cops were in on it, you're wrong. They're simply reacting to what they're being told. And so are you. Okay? Here's the deal. If you can continuously keep the population understanding that there is imminent danger from an uncontrollable unknown, as it were, regarding the Muslim population, right, then this is a perfect excuse to accept authoritarian rules of all sorts.
What is the biggest culmination of control on this planet throughout the entire history of this planet? That would be the mechanism of fear. The United States is the absolute, I mean, we're the poster child for that. How many rights has the American society willingly given up since 2001 because the Muslims are going to come over here and kill us all? How many rights have we seen trashed, which are now consigned to the scrap heap of privileges granted to us by our government as long as we exercise them within the constraints they lay down? I published an article about a month ago proving that this is true, because the second graders today, their textbooks teach them that the government grants us our rights. Have you ever heard anything more tyrannical than that? Our government does not grant us our rights, but this is what our second graders are being taught in school from their textbooks. Why? Because we would rather be safe than be free. And there's going to come a day where we reach the point of no return, and we're going to be so freaking sorry we made that decision.
Hey, Roger, you hit the nail on the head. Conditioning and programming starts with the youth.
Yes.
They understand that this is a 2 or 3 generation thing, and they've been working at it.
Give me the minds of the youth. Give me the minds of the youth, and within a generation, I will control the society.
Mm-hmm.
I know one person also that uses fear, and that is Mr. Alex Jones. He's an expert on this. So
very good.
There's a case here.
Give that man a prize.
The king of fear porn himself.
We have a product. Next to product.
I have to use this opportunity.
Hey, look at this. Jimmy the Swedish statist and all these liberty-minded people here all agree that Alex Jones is basically a psyop.
Transfer intelligence.
But the you guys,
and he's not. He's not even.
You guys who really are dealing with the internet radio and stuff, you should be careful about Alex Jones, though, because there are some rumors and stuff that he attacks people. Just so you know.
Not a single person. Not a single.
I'll verbally box Alex Jones. I'll verbally box him into a corner. I'll make him bite himself.
I would love nothing better than to have a one-on-one with Alex Jones. I guarantee you I could get him crying.
I would pay for that.
Let's call him right now, guys. Let's get him in here.
Yeah. Who's got his number?
I got his number right here. Hang on. I'll go look it up.
He's watching.
I have watched.
Yeah, but I mean, just so you know, I mean, you can ask Jack Blood and stuff.
I have watched this guy go into perfectly operating demonstrations and break them up and refocus everything away from the intent of the protest onto himself on more than one occasion. This guy is a me person. We will never accomplish anything with me people. Damn it, if we aren't we people, then you better turn around and walk the other way.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I've seen it also.
Same blood, Dad. We do. We're all on this together.
All right, guys, I got to go. I wanted to come in and say hello.
Look at what Roger Landry's hello sounds like, guys.
I'm going to plug it, Roger. By the way, guys, Roger's going to join me tomorrow on Shake and Wake at 3 p.m. Okay? I'm going to have a conversation with him for a couple hours. So
we're going to talk about fluoride.
We're going to talk about lots of stuff. And yeah, I got some of the local people here. I'm promised to join in and listen. So I'm trying to get the fluoride message out here in town. It's just one little cog in the wheel. But Roger will join me tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific on Shake and Wake Radio. So join in.
Yeah, and I wish everybody here a very pleasant evening.
Hey, Roger.
Yes.
Wait, before you go, Roger, I want you to plug what you do. I mean, you put it out there. I love you to death, my brother. I want you. You were on the simulcast. We got the Ochelli effect and Truth Emerges Radio. We got both networks rolling. Please plug what you're doing.
Well, I am the founder of the Liberty Beacon Project, and quite a few people in this conversation are involved in the Liberty Beacon Project to some extent or another. We have absolutely one mission, and that is to wake up or to push back against programmed ignorance. We will educate. And it is only through the culmination of all of us working together. That's why it's called the Liberty Beacon Project. That's how we're going to win. So the Liberty Beacon Project has 15 global websites, a radio network, and a lot more on the horizon. And Austin, you're one of my favorites, my friend.
Thank you, Roger. I love you too, brother.
And you too, Chuck, and you too, Barry, and everybody else in this conversation. This has been fun, but I've got to be on a call in about 1 minute.
Thank you, Roger. And of course, you can find Roger at thelibertybeacon, all one word, .com. Loads of articles. He's on my show every Tuesday. So, you know, an absolutely incredible man that I am happy and proud to call my friend. And of course, we are on the same page regarding trying to get back to personal freedom, personal responsibility, and get away from all things which are associated to tyranny in general. Thank you, Roger.
And the eradication of programmed ignorance.
You got it.
Amen.
Good night.
Have a good night, Roger.
Wow, too bad he couldn't stay a little longer, Joe.
Jimmy, my statist friend, is your head swimming yet?
No.
Did I hear you mention? Go ahead.
And I want to give Jimmy props. He comes on and speaks his mind. He takes the abuse. He keeps coming on, and I give him props for that, even though I don't agree with him. Well, I do agree with him for one thing he said about Alex Jones being a fear-mongering, fear porn, but other than that, we don't agree on much.
Yeah, but there you go. Always something.
Well, that's what makes us all different in this world, isn't it? We all have opinions, but as long as we're all kind of fighting for the same end game and end results, it's nice to hear the people's opinions.
Yep.
No, absolutely. And I haven't quite gotten very much from Austin Thomas so far. So, and I want to point that out to everybody, those that are listening on this side of the fence, Unraveling the Matrix. You guys have got to check that out as well. Although he did call my show the Ochelli Factor on a post earlier today. That's okay.
Well, I fixed it.
I love you anyway, Austin.
The Ochelli effect, I stand corrected. At least I got the Ochelli right.
Yes, and you could spell it, which is a plus. I really do appreciate it, I'll tell you. It's okay. It took me about 6 months to remember that Barry's show is called The Big Puzzle. So, we have just about 10 more minutes until we're going to have to take a break on both sides, okay? So I don't know how you guys want to go. I want to kind of quiet it down on my end because we've been a little loud over here and let you guys at it because I know you got other callers and other people that want to join in, and we kind of cut off Brandon Council, and I'm sorry about that, Brandon. But we want to try and get everybody in as much as we can here. So, you guys go ahead and kind of take the helm for a little bit, and let's punch those last 10 minutes with you guys for a bit, all right?
Okay, well, for one, your guest here, buddy, this is the first time I've met you. Your name is?
Oh, which one? We have Austin Thomas over there. We have Lee Peer.
Okay, I only see one name. I only see one name in here, Charles. I didn't realize there was more than one person sitting here, so I don't know who I'm talking to.
Yeah, sorry. What it is that that's actually us being broadcast over on Truth Emerges Radio.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And they have their own set of callers coming in, too. This is why there's been a little bit of chaos here, but I think we're getting someplace. Cool. And it's working out a little better than I thought it was gonna. That's for sure.
Okay. Are you guys in America, or are you somewhere else? This network.
Yeah. We cyber. Well, I mean, we're on Blog Talk, so
okay.
We're basically based anywhere that someone has a laptop or a PC and the phone to pick up and dial in. We got my friend Jimmy Corsimini, my buddy from he's in Sweden right now participating.
Cool. Okay, I got it. Okay, I didn't get the whole picture right.
Yeah, and Barry Prince is in Canada, and Brandon Council is actually on something called NWO Truth Radio, which you can also find on Blog Talk and some other places. And we were talking with him a little bit earlier. Like I said, we kind of cut him off when Roger Landry came in, and I apologize again, Brandon.
It's all good.
But you know how it is when I'm trying to fit somebody in who I know's got like limited time, and so sorry about that.
Brother.
But all these guys are great, though. Take a look, look up and find Austin Thomas, Lee Peer, and if you can't find him anywhere, Barry, just check my friends list on Facebook, and you'll find him there. And also look up the Coalition, which is something where a bunch of us do get together and actually work together a bit as opposed to competing with one another.
Yeah, I found that earlier, and I put a like on that page. So
I found
that. Yeah, and I put a like on the page. So I'm sure we'll be talking again. It's nice to meet other people involved, and this is the first time I've been aware of these people, Charles. So, like I said, it's nice to meet other people involved. At one point tonight, Charles, on the second hour, I wouldn't mind talking about Chaga for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Not necessarily now, but in the second half of the show, if I can have 5 minutes, I'd just like to share with the public a few things that I found out this week.
Oh, and, well, once Kim's show starts, which is only like 8 minutes from now, we'll be breaking, and then Kim's show will start. We'll have plenty of time to go into that. So,
I want to share that with your audience tonight.
But I want to try and give these guys over there, because I mean I've kind of monopolized the time a little bit with Roger and Maria and you, and so I want to try and give these guys some time too. Because
stop that.
well, no, it's all good. I mean, this myself, I guess I'm an individualist, but I just want to show Jimmy that individualists, we're not all greedy bastards. We don't care about ourselves. We do care about other people. We voluntarily work with other people. We believe in voluntarism, not being forced by a government or being forced through coercion or being forced by the threat of being caged or with the gun to cooperate. Yeah. We cooperate voluntarily. This is a whole different gig. We don't need government to get along. We don't need it. As a matter of fact, government is the...
Well, he's got a mouth like a cannon, always shooting it off.
Here we go.
Go ahead. I'm enjoying this.
Can I bring up a point there?
Sure.
Because I mean, I understand that you guys that you care about a lot of people and a lot of a lot of people. I can say that because I know that you care about the poor people there in Florida, for example, and you care about the Palestinians and stuff. So I know that. I know that you care about people. But we can bring up a point that is happening right now, actually, in my country. In my city, they reported, one reporter said that the defense here, the military, had reported that there was a suspected submarine in our archipelago. Just like 1-2 hours ago, they reported that. How on earth would you handle that if you don't have an army?
Well,
wow.
Look, first of all, let me go with this. Where did you get where did you get the information about this submarine in your archipelago by your city?
I saw it on Twitter. It was a reporter for one of our biggest tabloids that wrote it.
So it's a legitimate source?
It's very, very close to our inner city, actually. It was really freaky, to be honest.
Whereabouts are you, sir?
Now, how
Sorry?
deep is this archipelago by your city? How deep is it?
It's very big. I think we have like 1,000 islands or whatever. And this is they are in the inner archipelago, so they are like just one giant island from almost the inner city. It's
Where are you, sir? Where are you, sir?
I am in Stockholm, Sweden.
In Scotland, Sweden. Okay.
Yeah, the capital.
Wow.
Did you
Wow.
Did you allow that as a people from your country to?
I think Lee's Skype might have died a little bit, but
nobody answered. That was the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Sorry?
Let me ask you a quick question. How secure do you really feel about your Swedish Navy?
I feel pretty certain about them. I mean, I think they're trying to do as good a job they can.
Well,
right.
I think
let me
the Swedish Navy
ask you another question. Do you believe everything that your Swedish Navy tells you?
I think they are trying to be honest, at least. Yeah.
All righty then. See, now that answers a lot of questions. I'll tell you what.
First government history.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you what, too, when we go into the next part of this presentation, we're also going to have the perspective of somebody from the UK as well coming up. So we'll see if we can get a really good world view. We've got Canada, the United States, Sweden, and UK represented so far. So
sounds like a hockey game.
Yeah, doesn't it, though? I don't know, Lee, if you want to go ahead and break off from me so that you can do your commercials about now.
That's right.
Losing a business.
Whoa.
Wow.
Somebody.
Green giant on my
There we go. Okay.
So out in a blizzard or something.
Okay, well now the wrestling match with the microphone has ended, so maybe not.
hey brother, I'm put on a few ads over here at Truth Emerges. You do what you got to do over there. You see why we'll meet up 5 after. Good.
That sounds perfect. We're going to do that again, and when I come back, I'll have Jillian Treblecock on the line. All right, guys. So, okay. There we go. Barry, you still with me?
I'm here, sir.
All right. So I'm going to have Jillian Treblecock on the line on the other side here, and it'll be Kim's show. So everybody get themselves ready because although I'm going to stick around, it's under her control at that time, people. So don't blame me. Because the wife does what she wants in the Ochelli house, that's for sure. So I have no way of predicting exactly how that's going to go. I'm sure it'll be definitely entertaining, as all of her shows are. But hey, and we'll rejoin those guys on the other side after the bumpers do play. Barry, I don't know if you want to hang out, but if you do, that's cool too. The Big Puzzle with Barry Prince does air on Shake and Wake Radio, just for everybody's edification, as it were. And, hey, it's up to you, Barry. You want to stick around?
Well, she's doing a show for an hour, and then you're having a talk after that, Charles? Is that the plan tonight?
No, actually, she does 2 hours after mine. So,
well, sure. I'll hang around for a while, Charles. Charles, I always like listening to people talk.
Okay, great. So, and Jillian, is that you? Jillian.
Yeah.
Ah, there you are. Listen, just
Hi, sweetie.
Just mute up and hang out a little bit because there's going to be a bunch of bumper music that plays coming right up here in the next 30 seconds or so. And when that happens, we will wind up going into the next show, which is actually my wife's show, but we're combining them for this roundtable effect tonight. All right?
Cool. Yeah, sure. That's great.
All right, great. So you mute up, and everybody, thanks for listening to the Ochelli Effect. This is the first half of this big roundtable experience. Let's see how far we can go with everything. Stay tuned for Jaded.
Webcam microphone up close. Webcam microphone up close.
At the age of 19 in 1962, she was a...
See, but I have the files. You know, I read this stuff at the National Archives, and I read these other things. I said to myself, how can that be possible? The brain, you know, pistols and fondle slab of choice, I don't know when that was. It doesn't really matter. Internet, professional wrestlers, and not Jesse Ventura style. It doesn't matter where the cartoon comes from as long as it's real. It doesn't. It's hard to get real information because seriously.